Good evening, everyone. Today we are going to see the benefits of effective communication. Before starting with that communication, let me start with the two stories. One of the great personality, good human being, Dr. Lawrence Anthony, okay, and his wife. Why he is famous also, we will see it now. In 2003, when America attacked Baghdad, the people did not took care of the largest zoo which was available at Baghdad. On hearing this person flew from South Africa to Dubai. From there, he loaded with a lot of food items and other items for the wild animals, and he got a special permission, and he took the help of the American soldiers and rehabilitated many of the wild animals and took care of them for a period of some 3 months or so. So that's why he became first famous. After that, what happened is in 1999, he was settling at South Africa, and he has his own wildlife reserve, with private zoo type of things. He got a call from one of his neighbor. If you are ready to take those 9 rogue elephants, you can take it. Otherwise, we are going to shoot it out because they are misbehaving heavily. And those 9 elephants were 3 adult females and 3 young elephants and 1 adolescent bull and 2 baby elephants. Okay. And immediately, Dr. Lawrence Anthony, he went there. Before he reaches, 2 of the elephant, one leader of that lady elephant, and the baby was also shot because of the misbehavior by that person. So he rescued the balance 7 elephants and brought him to that his own zoo called Tula Tola. Tula Tola Reserve. It is around 2.5 hours drive from Durban. He brought it over there. But as you know, these are wild elephants and they are not zoo animals and all. So he kept them in his zoo. But as usual, there was a elephant called Nana. This elephant is Nana. Nana is a leader of that herd. That is a female elephant, very huge elephant. If you go and Google it also, you can see it, Nana, the leader of elephant herd. Very aggressive, and it was not obeying to any of the requests made by Dr. Lawrence Anthony and his wife and his teammates and all the things. He tried his level best because there was a only thing, he has kept them in a fence with 8,000 volt current will be passing, and they were every day they used to keep on breaking the fence and go. But the size of the reserve was 5,000 acres. Locate them animals wherever it has gone and bring them back again and put it into the same safe area. But beyond certain point, he could not do anything. He tried his level best. He used to communicate with that elephant because you know that he was not a professional trainer of elephants. Neither he was a professional trainer of who can talk in the language of elephants and all. And finally, he decided, okay, 3 weeks I'm going to stay with the elephants, and throughout, that is 24 hours, I'm going to stay with the elephants itself. I'm going to talk to those elephants in my own language, and I am convinced that I can convince those elephants. Only few people will believe that, and his wife and one of his assistants and stayed with him. 1 week passed, nothing happened. The same rude behavior they all exhibited. Around evening, around 4:55, I think, he was standing near the fence and talking to Nana. Nana, you try to understand, this is your new home. You have to live here, and I will take care of you 100%. If you are going to go away from this place, breaking the fence and all the things, definitely the people will shoot you. And not only you, entire your family will get shot. He tried his level best. Suddenly, some miracle has happened. that Nana came towards him and touched his cheek with the trunk. That moment changed the life of both Lawrence Anthony and Nana. After that, there was no fence was required. They removed the fence, and all the 7 wild animals became friends for Anthony and his team. Okay, so this is a very great communication he had made with an elephant. So that was a great example. So he also wrote a book about this. The book is known as Elephant Whisperer. Anyone can see it, and it's one of the best-selling book in South Africa. Even in India also, it is one of the very famous book. And if you are interested in reading such true stories, I suggest you to buy this book and read it. The narrative was excellent. So what I'm going to explain in this webinar on benefits of effective communication. The first thing is, what is the process of communication and what are the elements of communication? What are the factors influencing communication? Third, how to handle fear of failure and fear of rejection. Fourth, barriers in communications and methods to overcome it. Fifth is verbal and non-verbal communication, active listening methodology, and tips to improve your communications. I'm going to touch these headings. I'm not going to talk in detail because in 45 minutes, I don't think I can talk on, because I take a class on effective communication for 3 days. Okay, so I have taken only few slides and I'm going to only touch these topics. Okay, as you know, the types of communications broadly divided into verbal communication, non-verbal communication, written communications. Before getting into this, I will go with another story. Most of you may be knowing about this personality by seeing the picture. The newcomers or the youngsters may not be knowing him. His name is Mr. Pele, one of the legend of football. Okay, like Sachin Tendulkar or Brian Lara or Steve Waugh. Like that in cricket, Mr. Pele was one of the legend for a football. So after a big match, many people surrounded Mr. Pele and congratulated him for his performance. One 7-year-old boy pulled his t-shirt and drew his attention towards him and told that I am your die-hard fan. Pele was extremely happy. At the age of 7, he is able to recollect it is Mr. Pele and I am coming and telling that he is a die-hard fan. So immediately he bent down and hugged him and told him, thank you so much. And he kept on signing the autograph. The boy got excited and I told that how many records or how many matches you played, I know it. And I also know that how many goals you made in each game. That makes Mr. Pele very astonishing and he was very happy. At the age of 7, he was able to remember how many matches I played and he remembers all the goals, how many goals I made it in each game also. And then he immediately took him in his hands and he was busy signing the autograph. Then boy said proudly, I also know all your past records. That means how many at a consecutive or different records are there. No, all the records he knows about it. Pele was very happy and he kissed him. And after that, the boy pulled his chin and told him and looked at his eyes and said, I will break all your records one day. And that person's name was Maradona, football player. So these two stories I have told. One is about Lawrence Anthony, second about Pele and Maradona. Okay. Now we will get into our subject. So in verbal communications, if you see it, no, many times we think that the moment we say communication, talking is communication. Actually, I am going to break the mindset. Talking is very less. You have to more listen, and you have to. Non-verbal communication is 65%. In a regular communications. If you in this webinar, we are not going to have any non-verbal communication because in this webinar format, it is more of presentation. Okay. Most of the business communications, we have a non-verbal communication, which is 65%, where we focus on body language, we express through our facial expressions and gestures and other things. So verbal communication is only 35%, which includes written as well as oral. Okay. So A non-verbal communication is most of the time we miss it, and that influences the other person heavily. You try it like when you go for an interview and you go and sit like arrogant person, you will not get selected even though you answer properly. The reason is the way at which you're sitting, the way at which you are posing yourself makes the other person feel that this person looks like arrogant. This person doesn't want to listen. So what happens is he is not interested in taking the person. So that non-verbal communication is extremely important. Okay. So now we will see how to improve this non-verbal communications. I am going to show many things, but you remember these 5 points alone. First, have eye contact. It's very easy to say, but look at the eyes of the opponent and talk. It's very difficult because the moment you look at opponent eyes and start talking, it will be very difficult for you to tell a lie or tell some wrong things, tell some bluff, tell some non-possible things. You may have to tell the truth. Okay, so you have to maintain your eye contact. By having a eye contact with the opponent, you are also ensuring that opponent is also not making a lie. Okay, that's a great thing. Okay, so that is a very important thing. Try this thing. Second thing is nod your head to convey that you agree. Okay, the typical Indian nod, that means up and down. That is called Indian nod, and that is the way you have to say that you are agreeing with whatever he is saying or whatever you are going to propose or anything. Okay, there is another head nodding technique is available. We will talk on some other time. Smile and show interest in your conversations. That means whenever he is talking or whenever you are talking, you have to acknowledge him. So you have to smile and show interest. You should not be keeping a wrong or rude face when the opponent is talking. Okay, even though he is talking about why don't you consider giving 180-day credit? You laugh at it. Oh, excellent. I will be very happy to give it, provided you pay 2,000% advance. Correct? So it is a conflicting statement. That is how you have to laugh it out. Some who is asking 180 days credit because he is in his chair, he can ask anything, and you are in your chair, you can talk anything also. So, but you have to show interest. You have to keep your smile. You have to wear a smile, what we call in management. Lean forward to show the speaker your interest. The moment you sit back and talk or sit back and listen, that means it indicates. That's why I'm not saying it means. It means to the people who knows what is a person's ability to identify based on the gestures that you are not ready to listen. You are ready to vomit or you are ready to tell only. You have come for the discussion to tell what is your stand. You are not ready to listen. That is a wrong attitude. You should not exhibit to your buyer or supplier. So you have to lean forward to show the speaker that you are interested in the topic. Later you can reject it or you can accept it that based on your other terms. Use tone of voice that matches your message. Okay, you have to increase your pitch, reduce your pitch. Okay, give you a pause. Methodologies you have to apply it in different way, but you have to use this. Without using it, don't use a flat voice. That doesn't have any impact. So you are going to stand or you are going to sit, and if you're assuming that you are going to stand, there are different ways to stand. Okay, we will be saying that you should never have Adam pose. Adam pose in the sense is like people will hold both hands and keep it below the belt. That's a very stupid pose. You should never have it. And people will put it in their trousers. That is also stupid pose. Okay, you have to keep open. So, and that's like you are seeing both the hands are above your hip level. It should be there. Either you can have a placard or you can have something. Anything you can have it, but you should not keep it inside your pocket, or you should not keep it Adam pose also. So all these things are there, which we are not going to talk. This is about non-verbal communication. Okay. Second one is written communication. Written communication is what you want to write, you have to think before you are drafting a mail. Mostly written communication comes into our business life, mostly in mail. Rewrite, draft it, learn the basics. You need to be polite. You need to be modest. You need to be simple. You need to be simple. That means you should not use bombarding words. You should use very simple word, the other person can understand that. You should know your audience, because the person who you are writing an email, he is not only going to read it. He may send it to his junior, he may send it to one of the engineer, or he may send it to the purchase department, wherever it may be. So you should know to whom this email is going to go, okay, within the player organization or a customer's organization, and you have to write to the lowest level of that organization person. Okay, make all your writing is very important. So don't write big stories. Crisp, clear, short. That's enough. So you have to follow a process, a typical process of greetings and then content, and then you have to give the benefits. Then you can give a what is a summary and ask action statement. Action statement is when I will get a reply, or hope I will get a reply within 2 days. You be specific. Okay. Otherwise, I will give you a call to you after 3 days. Like that, you give a specific. If you feel free to talk to me, you can reach me in my mobile or email. Everything you can do be specified. Only these 5 things should be there. Okay, and other things should be put into the simple presentation or your catalogs or brochures, whatever it may be. But your email should not be so lengthy. Your commercial document, anyway, your offer is going to have a lot of technical details, a lot of commercial details. That can be an annexure. But the main body of the email should have only 5 small paragraphs. Okay, deal with conflict people carefully. Okay, you should know how to handle the conflict people, because they will always create a problem. Okay, write consistently. Right now, today you are saying something. After 3 weeks, for the same email, you should not say something, or you should not make some other claim. So you understand what you are asking and what you are going to say. It be consistent in what you are writing. It be authentic. Authentic in the sense is, don't make a sweeping statement. Okay, I am the best in the entire market. Don't make such sweeping statement. You have to validate it. Whatever you are claiming it, you have to validate. Okay, that is the basics of written communication. So now we come to the verbal. So we saw about what is the non-verbal communication, and we saw the gestures, body language, and other things. Second, we talked about written communication. Now we are coming into the verbal communication. If you see this number, anyone can say it. It is Chennai. It is first India, then Chennai, and some landline number. Plus 91 is India code. 44 is Chennai code. 23344556 is a landline number. Okay, everyone will understand this is. But even if you are repeating the same numbers but in different order, instead of putting plus 91, if you put plus 19, what will happen? The message will not go through to the concerned person. The call will go to some other country. Okay, I don't know which country it is. If it is plus 1, it will automatically go to America. So I do not know what it is. But what I am trying to say is, you are repeating the same numbers, but only the order is different. Even then, your communication is not reaching the concerned person. It makes a huge difference. Exactly the same way, your communications. You may be using the same words, but if you change the order, your meaning, your result, everything is going to go different. So the communication process, this is a basic communication process. Okay, you will have a sender, you will have a receiver. Okay, and sender, what normally he does it, he encode the message. Okay, that means he encode the message so as to receiver's level and encode it. Okay, then he convert it as a message and transmit it on a medium. Medium in the sense is mobile phone, in person, or email, whatever it may be. Okay, and the receiver decodes. The receiver is not there. Okay, the sender is not there while the receiver decodes. If you are sending an email, whatever receiver understands only his communications. Okay, it is not what you intended to do. Okay, so the receiver decodes. Receiver creates the meaning of it. Okay, and he again, he put himself in a sender's positions. He encode the same thing, create a message, transmitted on a medium, and the original sender again decodes and understand what is the message. Okay, so what happens is, if you pass through all these elements, Okay, in case if the person wrongly decodes, if a person wrongly encode, the message is going to get corrupted. Okay. In addition to this, there is one more element called noise. Noise is a disturbance which is created in the medium, which is can be created by because of the medium, or it can be because of so many other factors. So what happens is there are sender, a receiver, medium, and coding, encoding, all these things. So if you look at the barriers, if you look at what are the barriers, you have senders barriers and receivers barriers will be there. Okay, we will see that in the senders barrier and receivers barrier. Before that, there are three important factors which make a huge impact on communication. The first factor is called how, the second factor is called who, and third factor is called what. Many times we don't understand it properly. We think it in the wrong way. What wrong way? We will think that what is communicated is 71%. How it is communicated is only 7%. Who is communicating is 22%. Okay? It's 100% wrong. It will be like this. How it is communicated will have an impact on the receiver. Who is communicating will have the second, and what is communicated will have only 7%. I'm repeating it again. How it is communicated will have a 71% impact. Who is communicating will have 22% impact. And what is communicated will have only 7% impact. I can prove it now. How I am going to prove it to you? I am going to tell one more story. And you say that, sir, you already sold this story. Exactly, I told the same story. But what is the thing I have done? I have changed that yellow line with a light blue color. Instead of Pele and Maradona, you are coming with Brown and O.J. Simpson. Because here, if you see it, I want to communicate that confidence a young boy had when he was 7 years. That's all I want to communicate, correct? So what was communicated? But I didn't create an impact. If I told it in this way, Brown and O.J. Simpson, 99% of the people may not know who is Brown, who is O.J. Simpson in India, because they are USA stars. Okay. So when you are talking to the audience, we slightly tilted that, removed the Brown name and removed O.J. Simpson. Instead of that, you put Pele and Maradona. Okay. But before doing it, you have to analyze what is the performance of Pele, what is the performance of Maradona, whether he has done equal number of caliber, and the age is also the same way. Everything we checked up. After that, I changed it. Okay. Now you got an impact. Okay, correct? The impact is not on what was communicated. Impact is on how it is communicated to you. Correct? So 71% of impact you have created because how it is communicated. Second, the person who is communicating. Okay. The third, only what is communicated. Understood? So now we will see the first barrier. First barrier in your communication is fear of failure. Why you have fear of failure? Because you don't want to talk, because you have a fear that you may fail in communication. Of course you will fail. You will never be successful in the first time itself. Fail many times to be successful. None of us were very successful from the day one onwards. Correct? So the only way to overcome failure is trying it again and again and again. If you try 100 times, you may fail 30 times, 40 times, 50 times. So second 100 times, you will not fail 50 times. You will fail only around 30 times. Third 100 times, when you are doing a trial, you will fail only around 10 times. Fourth 100 time, you are going to try it out. You may fail around only 3 times. That's all. 5 times, 500 times you try, automatically your fear of failure will go away. And after that, you will be very confident to talk to anyone. Okay. So the only way to overcome the fear of failure is to practice it again and again, like all our athletes do. Second one is fear of rejection. People think that I do not have a good vocabulary. I do not have a good command in English. I do not have good command in German. I cannot explain things in a proper way. All these things, no, that's the reason they don't want. I want to be Mr. Perfect or Miss Perfect. Throw it out. First, start shooting. Then you can aim it. Later, you can start perfecting it. First, you start shooting it. Okay. So don't have the fear of rejection. If at all he is rejecting, you are getting rejected by the third person. In his opinion, you are rejected. That's all. No. You know what is your capabilities and all. Learn the mistakes and then improve it. Okay. The only way to come over of fear of rejection is also practicing it again and again and again and again only. Because most of the time I'm seeing all the youngsters especially, they're very afraid of talking because they think that only these two major reasons. And as I told you earlier, sender's barrier. Sender's barrier means individual, the person. I am assuming that in this communication process, I am making a communication and you all are receiving it. So I am a sender here, you all are receivers. So what is the sender's barrier? The sender's barrier from this side is, I will be thinking that I may not be in a position to talk in Hindi. That, and you people are people who can understand only Hindi, then it is my barrier. Okay. So I cannot talk fluent Tamil, then it is my barrier. Okay. So that is called a sender's barrier. So I don't have command on language. That's my barrier. I don't have command in German or Japanese or any languages, then it will be a sender's barrier. Okay. Similarly, the receiver barrier. It can be different, not necessarily only the language, not necessarily is only the subject, but also the medium. Medium means, like, I am sitting in a remote area where the signal on and off, I am unable to receive completely. Okay, that's the reason we put a picture and then talk. Even somebody is not able to hear the video and not hear the audio, they are seeing the video. So you can able to at least get some information. Encoding, decoding. Okay, that's the reason we keep on again repeating it. What you want to communicate and what you want to understand. Again and again, we are drilling it. Okay, so that is called encoding and decoding. Medium and noise, the webinar, conference, personal talk, all these things. These are the barriers of communications. Okay. So, as I told earlier, verbal communication is only 35%. Non-verbal communication is 65%. So if you want to be a good communicator, the first and foremost step is be an active listener. The moment you are active listener, 65% of communications you are going into, just see it. 65% you will become scoring a good mark if you are just listening. Just take an example. You just check up who are your good friends. Your good friends will be a person who listens to you. Is not the person who is talking to you. Correct? So the person who listens to you is your good friend. So when you are listening, you can use different methodology. Like you summarize, show interest, listen for the feeling, signal encouragement, observe non-verbal behavior of the other person, avoid interruptions, probing questions, reflect whatever he is talking. Okay, use of open and closed-end questions and all, and clarify what you understood, and finally summarize whatever you listen to him. Then he will say, he is my best friend and he is a very good friend. What is the reason? You didn't talk anything. You are just listening to him only. Okay. So if you see it in a business, in a typical successful business negotiation, will be done only with these methods. You have to listen 54. That means you have 10 minutes time, 5.2 minutes you have to listen. You should present only for 15 minutes. You should write it, clarify it, explain it in a writing board or a paper and pen only for 14 minutes. You have to persuade only for 10 minutes and you have to negotiate only for 7 minutes. But what we do, check it out, reverse. We listen to the person only for 7 minutes or 7%, and we negotiate for 54%. How you will be getting it? You try this. This is a proven methods. I am not telling from my hat. While listening also, you have to listen to understand, but not listen to question. Many times people, especially when you are giving lectures, people will be not interested in listening to the subject, not interested in understanding what the speaker is talking. They are more interested in telling their questions. Okay. Then the speaker will say that, no, I already explained this in this slide number 7. Okay. Then only you will realize. So first listen to understand. Ask deeper questions. Don't float. Don't give a simple questions. Ask a deeper questions from the subject. Avoid interruptions. Here we have ensured avoid interruption by muting all. Correct? Withhold your judgment. Many times we go and see him, like, when you see one of the great comedian, I forget his name. The moment you see him, he is a great comedian, but you think that he cannot make a good talk in Tamil. Excellent talk he can make it. Okay, so don't have a judgment of any speaker. So withhold your judgment. Train your mind. Don't be distracted. Okay, and slow down. Practice silence. That's what listening is. The more you listen, you learn more. Okay, take non-verbal clues. This is very, very important, because this non-verbal, he will exhibit unknowingly. He will exhibit unknowingly what is their true intention. So another method of active listening is also look for the contents, paraphrase the components, and wait for your turn, give respect, and summarize whatever we talked by blending. Blending means mixing with his points. That means when you say a blender or a mixer, it's a different. Blender is smooth. Okay, mixer is not very smooth. Okay, when you take a egg, they will take a egg, white and yellow. They use a blender to make it shake to make an omelette. Okay, so that is called blending, smooth. Okay, backtracking. Backtracking is he has told something, on that you talk something else. Okay, like somebody is talking about the only positive method to prevent corona is to have a social distancing. Then you can say that coupled with wearing a mask. Okay, that is, and washing it or using it fresh mask every day. Like that you have to say it. Clarifying. Okay, clarifying means you ask a serious, interested, and genuine questions. Don't ask questions just because you want to ask. Okay, that's the reason it is called clarifying. So clarifying and confirm whatever you understood. While finalizing it, you summarize whatever he talked and confirm it also. Okay, so that is what you are doing it. So advantages of a good communication is in business. I am talking about only in business. I am not talking about any of our personal things. Successful completion of works in time. It will reduce your cost. Okay, it helps to plan properly. It helps you to share ideas, suggestions, and complaints. And because you are listening to many people, it's a democratic management. Implement decisions in any time because you are getting inputs regularly from all the people, which all increases your productivity, reduces your cost, improve your efficiency. That's all you want, correct? By the benefits of effective communication is increasing the efficiency, reducing the cost, increasing the profits. Okay, so that is what we are getting it here. So I'll give you small tips for effective communication. Okay, communicate relentlessly, simplify and be direct. Many times we bombard with people, bombard with our knowledge. You are not going to get like Sachit Tharoor. You need not show that your knowledge level. That is not needed because he is a politician. He can talk anything because he has a respect from different people. But how many people in India can understand his English? So don't try to be Shashi Tharoor. Listen and encourage inputs. That's very, very, very important. Okay. Illustrate through stories. People love to listen to stories. Like, even in this short 40 minutes presentation itself, I told 2 stories. Okay. Affirm with actions. Okay. Whatever you are talking, you do it, walk the talk. Okay. That is the things, it's the typical. Many times we go and make a presentation like this. Horrible. Just simply horrible presentation. Throw it. If you are prepared any of your presentations like this, throw it out. The same slide I am going to make it now. See, principles of effective business communication. Okay. It's very simple. Nothing. I have whole thing only I'm putting it over here in a different format. Okay. At a time, only one should be visible. What is the first principle? Clarity. You need not explain the clarity, which is at the bottom, but a simple single word. Okay. Here, what you are saying it here, principle of clarity. The message prepared for communication should be clear. Ambiguous message will not be able to make a effective communication. This is stupid communication. Okay. So this is the effective communication. Second one is completeness. The third one will be conciseness. And the fourth one is consideration. And the fifth one is courtesy. The sixth one is correctness. Okay, now what you see it, whenever I show to you only one point. So what happened? I am grabbing your attention towards my point. It goes, the probability of it goes into your mind. But if you put it like this, the person is looking at around everywhere, it is keep on saying it. The same thing only I put it over here. But what happened? It makes a huge impact. Okay. So this is how you have to have a proper. Then somebody want to talk on explaining about clarity, you can explain about clarity. Similarly, consideration, you can explain about it. Similarly, courtesy, you can explain about it. And correctness, you can explain about it. But you should never try to make like this and try to explain. Many people, especially old people, I am only old fellow, anybody above 40, anybody above 30, especially people from R&D, people from design, people are not into manufacturing, marketing, will make this presentation because they want to give the data. Okay, the data, this is not, nobody will be interested, nobody will be seeing their presentation. They will think that I have given all the information, but nobody will see it. So in summary, what we learned in this seminar are communication process and elements. What are the elements are there in the communication process? And what are the factors? How, who, what, correct? So how is the most important factor and who is the second important? What is communicated is very little impact it can create. You should overcome fear of failure and fear of rejection and barriers in communications. What is your sender's barrier, receiver's barrier? How to overcome those barriers also. Non-verbal, verbal, what is the importance of non-verbal communication? Because it is 65% that is going to make you successful. Okay, verbal communications, you know what is one-to-one communications. So for ensuring that non-verbal communication, you have to be an active listener. Okay, tips to improve the communications, we saw it also. Okay, now I didn't complete this story. Lawrence Anthony, at the age of 61, 2nd March 2012, he passed away. Okay. But this cartoon was drawn by one of his African friend sometime back, it seems. Okay. Somebody saying that there is no wonder the way at which you attracted these people on the elephants. Elephants will come to your graveyard and mourn for it. That is one comment he has given when he wrote the book and released the book. Lawrence laughed at him and said that, yes, I love that elephant. There is a possibility it can come. Okay, but you don't understand. It is a true. Okay, 2012 itself, the elephants were not aware that he passed away. It's a 5,000 acres. Okay, the moment he passed away on 2nd, 4th March. All the 7 elephants, they came one behind another, which is an unusual practice of a wild elephant. One behind another came to his house, okay, and waited there for 2 days. And after that, these elephants are coming every year. Every year, 9 years have passed. Okay, all 9 years on 4th March, there is no calendar, no one to remind, no one to take all the elephants. Now the head has increased to the size is 20. he got one more herd also brought in. So those elephants also, I don't know how they communicated about Lawrence to those person also. Now all the 29 elephants are coming. This is on 2013. This is on 2014. And after this, BBC wrote an article. How come these 26 elephants are coming on that day? Okay. And they are normally taking almost 12 hours to reach Anthony, it seems, house. Okay. So you see it, the place at Tula Tula, he could be able to communicate to an elephant. Okay. And we are not asking you to communicate to an elephant. We are asking you to communicate among ourselves. Okay. The other side of the person can understand your language, can understand your tone, and you can communicate. When you have a person lived, okay, now you are seeing it. Lawrence Anthony, how he was able to. And it's a true story. It is not a, what do you call, fabricated story. You can see in the website. The moment if you put Elephant Whisperer, Lawrence Anthony picture will come, and his lot of videos are there. Everywhere you can see. Even now, the elephant leader, Nana, you can see the size of Nana. Huge. It's around 5.8 ton, it seems now, the weight of the elephant. Huge, around 14 feet or 15 feet height. Now, Tula Tula is famous for live safari. Okay. The elephants will walk. It will not harm any human being because Lawrence Anthony has created a positive vibration to the elephant. Human beings will not do harmful to things to you. So that has gone into the minds of all the elephants. Now the wild elephants, you can go and you can watch it very closely. You can see it in YouTube video. Okay. So if you know how to communicate, you can win hearts. Okay. With this, I end this session.